Hey everybody, I wanted to share a new curriculum. I believe this came out towards the end of last year, and I saw it on Facebook and it looked really interesting to me. And after doing a little bit of research on it, I think that this is something that I'm going to use for he'll be 4th grade next year. So I think we'll probably spread it over 4th and 5th grade because I have some other things I want to do as well. But I wanted to share it with you in case you hadn't heard about it yet. Keep in mind, I haven't used it yet. So this is really just like a look at it and something you may want to look into more. But it's a complete 5th grade language arts curriculum. The company is Hearth and Story, and the author is Lindsay Sedano, who has written for History Quest. So this is secular, and it looks to me like it's maybe supposed to look a little bit like The Good and the Beautiful. I'm not sure. But it does have that kind of a look to it, but it is secular. And I also appreciate that it includes the 5th grade content standards as well. So there's lots of different ways you can buy this. You can buy the whole package, which I believe is $25. And it's comprehensive. It covers, let's see, spelling, grammar, writing, novel studies, short stories, poetry, and brain food. And it covers Common Core standards for 5th grade language arts. So you could buy the whole package that includes all of that for $25, or you can buy individual pieces if you don't want to do the whole thing. Now, I'm not looking at it for the whole package, although I did buy the whole package. I bought mine on seahomeschoolers.com, and I believe it was on sale there. It was $22 when I bought it. I don't know if it's still on sale. I really only want the literature portion, the novels, short story studies, and the poetry. And I believe that was maybe $18. Anyway, I just ended up doing the whole package because it was only a small difference in price, and I thought just in case I decide down the road I want to use some other components, I might as well just buy it this way. I did notice on their Facebook page, depending on when you're watching this, until February 10th, they have 20% off, and the code is 5-day February. So if that's of interest to you, you may want to check that out. So I don't plan to use the spelling or the grammar or the writing. We have other things for that. So I'm mostly just going to show you the novel studies and the poetry, novel, short stories, and poetry, because that's what I printed. That's what I plan to try to incorporate. So I will just show you a little bit here. Here is a list of the novels and the short stories that they include. And I did borrow them from my library to preview, so I'll show you. We have Over the Moon by Natalie Lloyd, Gregor the Overlander by Suzanne Collins, The Giver by Lois Lowry, and The Last Mapmaker. And I think those are all really good choices. So that's partly what sold me on this. But I also like that all 4 novels kind of are part of a theme. So they say all 4 novels in Hearth and Story 5th grade language arts contribute to this year's theme, which is the stories we are told. Students will embark on a thought-provoking journey through the narratives of 4 captivating novels in which young protagonists confront the pervasive narratives that society weaves around them. These compelling stories delve into the tales society tells us about identity, class, ways of knowing, history, and the mechanisms shaping our world. The protagonists live in 4 different universes, but they have something important in common. They bravely question the status quo, challenging the stories handed down to them. Fueled by the desire for change, these young minds embark on transformative journeys, eventually redefining their worlds. So I thought that sounded great. There's also 3 short stories written in here, and they actually, they give you the short stories in here, so you don't have to find those separately. They give you this little like planning sheet and recommendations for pacing. There's some extra resources like this gratitude jar, which they include, and like a book log, which is kind of cool. but and a couple bookmarks. But let me show you at least one of the novel studies, because like I said, that's one of the main reasons that I wanted to give this a try. So let's see. Oh, at the beginning of every novel study, they tell you the materials that you'll need for that study. Now, this one's a little bit longer because there's a couple, like there's a recipe and an art project, but they're not all that, well, I guess that one has a recipe too. But still, it's not crazy stuff. So they tell you what you need. Here you need a copy of the book, a pen or pencil, this study guide, and then these are the ingredients for this recipe in chapter 12, and then for this art project in chapter 16. I also really like that it tells you the standards that it covers. And then we get in here. So for chapter 1, these are the questions they would answer. So it says, number 1, brainstorm. Take a look at the single sentence that begins the book. Brainstorm for a moment what this sentence might mean. What themes might appear in this book? Here we've got New World words. Jot down the meaning of the following terms from Maylee's World. Here we're comparing texts. And then we go on to chapter 2. And so on this one, chapter 2, it looks like there's just this part of the page. And then chapter 3 is this part of the page. And I believe for this particular book, when I read somewhere, it says how long it should take. And I think this one was 30 days. So it sounds like really or 29 days. It sounds like they've got them reading about a chapter a day. But because of the little amount of work, I guess, that's on each page, if they wanted to read more chapters, it wouldn't be overwhelming to have to do all the work with those chapters. So I kind of like that about it. But this is kind of a look at some of what they'll do. I like that there's not a ton for them to do. Like here, chapter 10, read this chapter, do this. So again, on this day, if you wanted them to read a couple chapters, you know, you could. Or like my kids will probably read a bunch of chapters and then just go back and do these on the day that I assign them. But I like that this is relatively independent, and that it's not overwhelming. There is an answer key included. And then basically it does novel, short story, novel, short story, novel, short story, novel. So the first short story is The Emperor's New Clothes. And we start day 1 here. This is the short story that they're going to be reading. So it's all included. And then day 2, day 3, and then there's an answer key. So the short stories are typically just a few days, it looks like. 3 days. Yeah, they're each 3 days. So that's what that looks like. And then you're into the next novel. And again, it's set up the same way. It gives you the materials, the standards, and then chapter 1, and there's the activity, chapter 2, chapter 3, 4, 5, 6. So very manageable. I think that this is going to work really well, I'm hoping. So anyway, I'm not going to show you every single novel study, but I will flip forward here and show you the poetry section. Because I thought that was nice that it included that as well. So here we have 5th grade poetry. Again, it goes through how to use the guide. I think it's really important to make sure that you read these because it's important. I see a lot of videos where people share curriculum, or it's usually like why they stopped using the curriculum, and sometimes I find that they didn't actually read like how to use the curriculum. That's why it possibly didn't work for them. So anyway, in case you don't, read that. Anyway, it's got the materials, the poems are all included, and then it covers the standards as well. And so I think there are 30 poems. Let me flip forward here and show you. There's 30 poems included. So if you did 1 a week, the poetry part would last you 30 weeks. So just 6 weeks shy of a 36-week school year. And then basically they put 2 poems per sheet here. So this is for the poem at the zoo, and then this is for the poem The Locust, and they kind of follow that pattern. So I'm excited about it. I'm cautiously optimistic. I think that it's going to go well. I really love the novels that they chose, and I like that this is flexible enough that you can pick out and do pieces and parts, even just within the novel study. I feel like I mean, we're going to do the whole thing, I think, but you don't have to, I feel like. And then, like I said, if you want to do the spelling and the grammar and all of that, you can get that as well. And it has a very similar format to this. But like I said, I've got other things planned for those. I may take a look at the brain food, but probably not. I think we're just going to use it for kind of the literature component of it. So anyway, whenever there's new secular curriculum, I like to check it out. And I really like the look of this. I think we're going to like it. I think it's going to be a good fit for us. So I wanted to share it. If you have any questions, let me know and I can try to answer them. But like I said, I haven't used it yet, but I did want to share it because I think it looks really cool. So if you have any questions, let me know down below.